Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang. Welcome to this video. I'd like to tell you a story that illustrates a simple way to boost your immune system, and it's a way that people don't often think about. So the story is a patient that I met a while ago who has a kind of a rare immune disorder that causes attacks to his joints. And when this happens to him, he gets very, very symptomatic and really messes up his life. So when I saw him the last time, I encouraged him to start on a gluten-free diet. Now, a gluten-free diet can have a positive effect on immune function because for many people, consuming gluten is a little bit like having a portable autoimmune disease. Now, the way that happens is because of a very complex way that the immune system attacks gluten in some people, and it, in ways that I'm not going to get into, it also at the same time starts to target other tissues in the body that are also triggered by the gluten. So I told him that I had other patients that had significant autoimmune disease that if they completely eliminated gluten, that they had a substantial decrease in symptoms. Many of those patients, if they completely went all the way to ketogenic, they had a further drop in their symptoms because the ketones themselves are a powerful anti-inflammatory chemical. So he was back in follow-up, and in the meantime, he had seen his doctor that treats his joint disease. That's called a rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist had wanted to start a pretty toxic medicine with good intentions to try to spare his joints, but he was reluctant to do that because of the known risks to the drug. So we talked about how if he just was very, very faithful, because he had been not completely faithful to gluten-free, but had approached probably 95%. If he was very, very faithful, that the chances were very promising that his inflammation in his joints would decrease enough that he would not need this very powerful medicine to control his symptoms. And if that didn't work, that if he wanted to go the extra mile and do ketogenic, then that would probably work. This was all based on the fact that he'd had such a dramatic improvement with only a mostly gluten-free approach. Now, there are other things we talked about as far as other toxins, but in this case, I felt and I think that gluten is the major player for him, and for a lot of people, it is the major player. Now, what has this got to do with boosting your immune system? Well, it's kind of like you're boosting your immune system when you take things away from your body that are messing up your immune system. So when you consume gluten and you're sensitive to it, it's not an allergy. It's more like an autoimmune condition, and gluten will magnify the attack on other tissues in the body, and different people have different responses. I spoke with a health professional today that described a child who, if this child consumes, and this child is now an adult, but if this child consumes the tiniest amount of gluten, she will become so impaired she looks drunk. And it's so her effect is largely in the brain, as it is in many people. So different people have different parts of their body targeted by the gluten intolerance. And so by pulling away this thing that people are reacting to, that actually helps the immune system to be in balance. So I told him in a secondary gain for him in this is that, particularly with this COVID-19 infection going around, the last thing that he wanted to do is take a powerful medicine that suppresses his immune function, because that's how these strong so-called biologicals work. They suppress the immune system, which means that he's going to be a lot higher risk for infection and, in the long run, cancer. So by this simple dietary strategy, his immune system is boosted to normal because it's not abnormally distracted on attacking its own body. And that is done by pulling away the thing that's triggering this abnormal response, which is the gluten. So in many cases, this is going on in people and they don't realize it. And so if you don't feel really great, my recommendation is to do a 4-week total elimination of gluten and see what happens. And if you feel a lot better, the chances are pretty good that gluten is something you should not be consuming. So I hope this has been helpful to you. God bless. Share this with others if it's been helpful, and have a good day.